Looks like we're live. All right. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner. It's Brian and Coach Mo. We're currently at our new location, the Basketball Academy. This has been a long time coming, and it's something that we've been working on. We're working on playing around with different shots, so it's going to probably look different every time we do a new episode. But we really wanted to get back to the podcast because that's where we have a lot of solid discussions about Basketball Academy, get updates about what we're doing, and it gives you an opportunity to get the zen of Basketball Academy. And that's what this episode is, zen in our perspective about Basketball Academy. Peace. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner podcast. It's Brian.
Coach Mo.
All right, we're back. If you hear dogs barking or anything, that is one of the downsides. We actually have our own location now, and it's a blessing, but we also have neighbors. And we're right across the street from Bellevue Pet Adventures, and them dogs are active today. They're really super active. So you might hear dogs barking in the background. Hey, we're live. That's all we can do.
What it is.
Today's episode, we haven't done one. It's been about 4 months since we dropped the last one. And we wanted to give y'all a rundown of Basketball Academy and our programming and really discuss what really makes the difference in terms of the way that we see basketball versus a lot of the other organizations. And we're not here to down anybody or say this is the right way or this is the wrong way, but it's our way and everybody else has their own methodology. What is the thing that makes Basketball Academy unique, our Basketball Academy program unique? What is it?
It's building skill before we put you on a court. I think when people call for us, the first thing we do, like we're a development program, and we've stuck with that since we've started. It's not about getting on a team, get a ball in your hand, get a jersey, and run it wild. It's about let me get you developed first.
When we were coming up with the first iteration of Basketball Academy, my vision was, what if we could have a school for basketball and one price, and it was all inclusive and it covered everything. So it was like $99. You get the training, plus you get the team play and all of that other stuff. And we found out really quick that's really expensive to do. And we were still getting people that were more on the side of, I just want my kid to play. I don't necessarily care about the development piece of it, to the point where we've had parents that say they develop by playing in all these tournaments and all this other stuff. And that didn't align with what our strategy was. We didn't think that just throwing a bunch of kids on a court with a basketball, we didn't think that was how we wanted to present our program.
Yeah.
It weighed us down with a lot of parents that were still in the traditional, I don't really care about all this other stuff. Just put them on a court and I can sit up in the stands and clap. And somehow magically they're going to get better without any other development outside of practices.
Osmosis.
It's just going to happen magically. Basketball's just going to happen to them. And so we had to move on from them. Now, it was tough because it was a great idea, but sometimes great ideas need to even be taken back to the chalkboard. At the end of the day, we're a development program. And that's what I want to say. The begin and end, we are a development program. That is what we do. That's what we pride ourselves in. That's the names. You guys can't see it, but I'm probably going to drop some B-roll in here as I do a walkthrough of the facility. That's why our college guys are going to be coming back and signing that wall, because it's the development piece. It's the speed and agility piece. It's the footwork. It's the technical skill piece of it that is the game changer. A lot of organizations just have basketball happen to them. What was your experience with it as a coach?
What happened was you get people that had an opinion of what their kids were because there was no other bar to measure it to. So your kid might have played in a league where they're the only decent team and they were beating all these teams that weren't really great. So then we get them and they're like, let's just throw them in games. And I'm like, okay, we're going to play them about 2 grades up or 2 levels up and see what happens. And with the speed of the game was so fast, they weren't caught up. They weren't developed enough to catch up to that game. So what happens, you either had half the people like, I want to get caught up. I need to get caught up, or the half of them, I'm just going to go and it's going to just happen for me. And it never really does. Never really does.
We were getting kids that were talented but unbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like this kid can shoot the lights out, but they can't dribble at all. Or they're a great dribbler, but they don't know what to do with the ball once they got all they can do all the fancy dribbling stuff, but they don't really know what to do with the ball or where they're supposed to be. And so we would get those kids, and since we didn't have a hand in training them, the outcomes were all over the place.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of organizations, they're built on being a basketball organization, and that's cool. Being a traditional basketball organization where we got teams, we play tournaments, and we travel from here to here, and that's what we do. And then we have practices, and then we play. And for us, there's an added component for it because the piece that we emphasize more than practice is academy.
Right.
And it's even driving it home with some of the coaches. Don't pour all this energy. We want you to do game prep and get ready for the game.
Right.
But we need the same amount of energy and the same amount of intensity and the same amount of presence at our 2 times weekly basketball academy sessions. You know, because that's where we work on the skills, and we're trying to get the kids enthusiastic about the boring stuff. It's not easy.
Away from it, we should have a weekly camp, you know, and what we looked at is you have 6 days a week where you're not with us and we can't really check on you. Well, with this, we're like, here's Monday, here's Wednesday. I can check on you twice, but there's not a huge gap in between. Like it's Monday, work on some Tuesday, and then Wednesday get you to the next part. Usually they're playing games or something too. But this way we're able to check on their progress so we can prepare for next Monday.
Right.
Hey, man, you are really struggling with your left hand. Let's catch you up a little bit.
And it also gives us the opportunity to do more global assessments of us as a program.
Right.
So one of the things we're really trying to do is we set it up so that we all play in the same tournaments on the same days.
Mm-hmm.
So all the teams the entire organization is present. And so that it allows Coach Mo to walk around and check in on different teams and start spotting trends and seeing things that we need to bring back to academy to focus on. And that's really been our points of emphasis ever since. So it allows us to do different things than other basketball organizations because we don't have this loose affiliation of just coaches and they all do separate things. We do a lot of stuff together. A lot of our teams train together. Our little kids sometimes will mix with some of the big kids and stuff like that. The girls and the boys will have practices together just so that we can make sure that they're all learning the same things. And that's really that's the difference.
That consistency, learn the same things. We get these kids that, hey, I'm at this level because I learned this way, he learned this way, he learned this way. And now we have 3 different things going on.
Right.
And now we're breaking bad habits, or developing new good ones, or you got a kid that thinks they got it right. So now we have habits. If we had gotten in earlier, we evaluate that stuff.
Right.
So I have parents who try to ask me, they're like, I got a second grader that can dribble out of this world. Okay, so put him in the intermediate camp. They should be the advanced. Okay, so we're gonna try to advance, but I'm gonna show you what an advanced dribbler looks like. You show them, like, oh, okay. We're not saying we want to challenge you, but we can evaluate and show you where that kid needs to be at for that exact camp.
Right.
And then for that kid to be successful.
The other side, if you were just looking to put your kid on a team, we are not the organization for you.
No.
And I need to say it because I know that there are parents that are currently in the organization that probably need a little bit of that clarity too. If the primary goal of your interaction with us is, I just want my kid to be on a team, we're not it. We're not right for you because our goal is to make your kid a better basketball player.
Overall,
And I'm be really transparent because this conversation Coach Mo and I had, and he may not even want me to say it, but I'm gonna throw it out there. If tomorrow we had to stop doing teams, we'd be sad for the loss of that. If we had another pandemic that rolled through and shut down all the teams, we'd be really sad for the loss of being able to take our kids out to experience tournaments and stuff like that.
Right.
But our core programming is basketball academy.
Right.
And so if you're just looking to pay and have your kid on a team, we are not the organization for you. We're not the organization for you. If you just are looking for a team to play on.
Right.
If you're looking for your kids to become better basketball players while having a team component, then we can talk. if you're looking to be better basketball players.
Right.
But if it's just, I just want to be on a team, there are plenty of organizations that you can pay for a roster spot. Are you tired of just paying for a roster spot? We're not the organization for you if that's what you want.
I had a person talk to me the other night. Like, you know, was like, hey, I got some pricing for you guys. This place give me the other one. This place give me the other pricing. And I think you can go to that other place because we don't. If you just want to go on a team, that's not what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to come to the academy. We're asking you to reevaluate. Let me see how you do against pressure. Let me see how you do against 7-foot kids. And you're like, because you're an 8th grader going to 9th, you're going to see everything this summer. So we can't hide you either. So we're going to be real honest with you up front. This is what it is. Grandpa's not here right now.
Grandpa's not here right now.
Yep.
Oh, he on this team, he did X, Y, and Z. That's fantastic. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we do.
Right.
And so if you can't get in line with that, we're not the organization for you.
Right.
There are other organizations out there where they'll take your money and put your kid on a team and give you a jersey, and they give you a day that you practice, and you show up to that practice, and then they tell you when your games are, and you show up to the games. And whether your kid gets on the court, whether they're getting better, whether they're going to make their 8th grade team, all that stuff, it may or may not be
a lower percentage chance if you're not addressing that stuff you just said now. The chance that kid's going to make that team.
And the thing is, from our perspective, and it could be wrong, but the way our philosophy is, the kid gets on the floor, they start showing bad habits, and they are doing things, maybe it's skill stuff, but bad habits pop up in a game. With the academy model, we can put them out there, let them get the game experience, and then sit them down on the bench and let them watch the game and then come back and address it in academy.
Right.
With the other models, it's we sit you down on the bench.
Yeah, we ain't got to come back and talk to you. This is what we do.
We sit you down on the bench, and that's where you sit. And we're not going to come back and revisit this. We're not going to do any of that. You're going to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate, and that's not what we envision basketball development to be. And that's about as real as I can keep it. You can go to the other organizations and get that, and that's fine. That might be what you want. That's cool. But specifically, and it goes into my next point, the ones that have made the investment, pay us they pay us monthly investment and do basketball academy. This is something that Mo and I have discussed, and some of the coaches, this is something that we've discussed internally. If you do not show up to basketball academy, guess what?
You won't get better. It's simple as that. You won't level up. We can't monitor you. We can't help you. And you show up to the game, you're still shooting that same broke jump shot. You're doing the same stuff.
Yeah, let's follow up. So let's specifically talk about the game. If you don't show up to basketball academy,
you can't play. It's like a job. You can't disappear for 2 weeks and then show back up with some cookies and say, hey, man, I forgot, man. My bad. Man, I got some rest, man. I'm feeling good, bro.
Right.
They be like, your key card still work? I fired you like 2 weeks ago.
Right, like it's no PTO. You didn't use your PTO. No. You didn't request it. You just disappeared. Because there's differences. We've seen where kids have to take time off. There's medical stuff. There's family emergencies. Cool. We talk to coach. We figure out how we're going. You figure out what this plan is, and how we're going to work you back in. But I just said on Monday and Wednesday, I don't want to come. Right. Oh, okay. We're saying that it's not fair to these other kids that have showed up every week.
We got to start making excuses. Like, it's also an accountability on the kids and parents and our staff, where we're like, hey, we're here. What are you going to do for beyond that?
Right. And it's not perfect yet. It's not perfect. It's something we're working towards, because we're trying to really enforce that level of consistency. You show up consistently to academy, you're going to get more opportunities to be out on the court demonstrating your skills. You show up inconsistently or flake on us for 4 weeks and then just show up to the next tournament, it's not fair. It's not fair for you to be able to be out on the floor. And
we're in an era where, how do you know who the best is? How do you know who the best is? I mean, yeah, you might score a bunch if you're not the best defender. If you're not, which we're trying to work on. If you're not the best rebounder, which we're trying to work on for you. You are the best. Nothing matches or aligns that you are the best. Now, decent player, you can be above and beyond. We want you to that's why I say meet and exceed your goals. You'll exceed your goals, and you'll do that by development.
And there's a lot that comes with that, because there's another conversation that Moa and I are going to have on here regarding last summer we rolled out the model, the elite program, in a program that's focused and centered on development. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily align with what our vision is now that we have this building. It didn't necessarily align with it. And I think part of it was we wanted to create it in a way and put it in a way that communicates a little bit better to the kids of where they are.
They're seeing weekly, twice a week, something that they can get feedback on immediately,
Right.
so they can take home with them and work on.
So we're going to talk about what happened with the elite program. We're going to talk about summer programming, and we're probably going to do a little bit of a commercial for Basketball Academy, and we'll do all that.
Mm-hmm.
We did exactly what we wanted to do with the elite program, but Mo and I had a conversation, and we talked about what we want to do and what our vision is for basketball and how we want to do this development program. And having an elite team where it's designated as elite, we want to make sure that's sending the right message to the kids that are involved in it and to the other kids in the organization and everything. And so we've decided that we're going to put that on hold, the designation of elite. We still have the kids training with us, but our vision and definition of what elite means is different.
And it's like a name, so the kids don't panic when you hear the name. I don't care if we put you in as CMA, the CMA balloons, or CMA truck driver. It doesn't matter. We just need you to go out and play and compete and match the energy of the level that we put you in. So if you're this weekend, you're in gold, it doesn't matter what your name is, your CMA, whatever, you need to be able to compete in that level,
right,
to the point where you're winning or in every single game. If not, the name of elite all the time, the elite, if we're getting beat by 30 and 40 and it's consistent, we're not. I'm just saying in general, but if we do, does that name match, right? Does that name, that word itself match?
And let's keep it buck. We have our developmental, our orange team, orange and black. And our orange and black team are beating some organizations' top teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not calling them elite. And I think even the phrasing of elite, we want y'all to all, when we all are working together, we're all in this building and all grinding and doing things that we're supposed to do to get better together. We don't want to have that label of, well, you're the elite team and this other team, they're not elite. We don't want to do that. And we're seeing that on a level, it was causing a separation in terms of perspectives and stuff like that. Right. So elite guys, y'all ain't being demoted or anything, but we're not gonna move forward with the concept of elite for right now.
But we're gonna get its name.
Right.
It's a name. We'll work on that.
And elite puts an unnecessary target on y'all's back. Some of the listen, I'm trying to be diplomatic with a lot of this stuff, but there are programs out there that have a grudge with us or beef with us or they're rivals
in their own mind.
They're rivals against us. We don't really see it like that. But for them, we're rivals, and they're gonna come after y'all, and they're gonna come after all of our teams. We experienced it this past weekend with kids that have our program, the parents that have our programs in their sites, and I'll be honest with you, that elite puts an unnecessary barrier on it, especially when we have kids that we're still developing. Because we don't have a perfect player right now.
No. You probably never really will, but you have some higher levels. But the target, I had grown adults running up to me like, man, can't wait to get y'all back. Y'all 3-1 in the series. I've been checking out the schedule. Are you playing or your kid playing, man? You good, man? You good? I want all the smoke. I'll play whoever's in front of me.
Yeah.
I do that as a player. And our kids want that too. But do they? You might have 5 or 6 that really, they say they do. And it's not a knock on the kids, but I'd rather be prepared for those games and prepared for that level where if I know that every team I'm playing is a platinum team and every game I'm within 1 or 2 or winning, losing by 1 or 2, I'm ready.
Right.
Now I'm ready. But if I can get a tournament and I'm dominating 2 teams and then the third team beats us by 40, am I elite? The word elite, not the word elite again. Not are you elite word wise? You're better than most teams.
Internally, elite was internally the concept of and the designation of elite ended up becoming more of a distraction than elevating the kids like we wanted it to. We wanted it to fine tune them and hone them into killing machines on the court,
Right.
and it ended up becoming more of a distraction because these are still y'all are still kids. We want y'all to develop upon on the normal curve. Elite is taking kids that have a basic understanding of high school algebra and dropping y'all into calculus.
Well, I notice it made the parents get mad, but that's what I do. You won't get too mad. It's like I sometimes feel like with any program, I talk to friends with our program. Hey, so guess what? With CMA, we don't beef with other programs. We don't go out our way to beef. I'm just letting you know. I think I talked to 1 million programs last weekend, and we talked about this label, everybody's label. Who's your top team? My top team is green. My top team is the gold lightning bolts. And I all had the same issue where I have 5 players that match that energy. I might have 6 or 7 or 8 on my team, and the parents' energy is here, but those kids are like, I'm okay with getting developed a little bit.
Right.
I'm all right. My mom and dad are mad because I'm not starting.
Right.
Or my mom and dad are mad because I don't play X amount of minutes. That's not development. And so when I look at those teams and we put this thing, I'm like, our whole thing is based on development. I turned down somebody yesterday who wanted to join your summer team. Okay, cool. Well, how much is it? Told them the price. It's on the website. Very affordable. I mean, like this. I can get that from somewhere else. Blah, blah. We can't get what we get from somewhere else because you have academy. So
Well,
you lost that. So yeah, since you lost it, so go somewhere else. So we want to get more like, yeah, if this is your top team, yeah, we are top in our program, but I'm going to take my top team and I can drop them anywhere in a tournament and they're going to compete. And once we're at that level, sure, let's talk about a name or two. But besides that, the name doesn't really matter. The parents got to stop doing that too. Not only our organization, but all organizations. Like, just because you think your kid is here and the coach of school saying he's not, the 4 or 5 teams you tried out for said he's not, we developed said he's not. Maybe it's you, not but maybe it's you. Maybe that kid just needs to be on this level, not the bottom, not the top, middle, so they can get reps, get better, and get comfortable with the game and move up. We have kids that are doing that now. We have 2 or 3 kids that are moving up from our lower team. They're moving up right now. They're graduating up. Yeah. They showed up the academy. Showed them show out. They've gotten better. They listen. They watch basketball. They're coachable. They ask questions. Now I'm comfortable with you playing at a higher speed, higher level.
Right. And here's the thing. So now I'm about to jump into it. A couple years ago, we're traveling. We're playing down at Drive 5 in Kansas. It's outside Kansas City.
It's okay.
It's outside. It's in Kansas, but it's not Kansas City. And so we're playing, and this dude is next to me. And he's sitting there, and this kid plays on the other team. That's small talking. This dude's traveling from Colorado. And first thing is Coach Mo. And then he started naming off, you talking about Mo Williams from the NBA? No. Who are y'all? We're a program out of Omaha. Like, yeah, we're developing. We're developing players, and that's what we're focusing on. And I sat there and watched this dude. And he started out just being a jerk in the stands initially. But then it turned into full-blown, he gonna heckle kids at a 9th grade basketball game.
I remember that.
And I was like, looked at him like, I'm sorry that this is it for you. I'm sorry that this is the peak of your life, sitting in the stands in Kansas in a summer league, heckling children. I'm sorry that this is. I apologize that this is as good as it's going to get for you, man. But I got bigger plans for myself and our kids. And what you're doing is sad. It's really a sad state of affairs that you traveled from Colorado to here to heckle children. heckle a bunch of 13 and 14-year-old kids. That is, and what we're seeing a lot of it is parents are losing all sense of, it's not, then we're not saying, we're talking about parents that we're playing against, we see out there, people are losing all sense of perspective about what exactly they're doing. What are y'all doing? Are you here to support the kids? That's good. Are you here to actually fist fight other parents? Are you trying to pick fights with the coach? Are you coming on the floor during the game? What are you doing out here, bro? Is this what this is? Is this, you think that this is the make or break? We like in a real adaptation of above the rim, and this is the championship game. And this is for all, this is for everything. And scholarships and futures will be determined in this game at this very moment.
I watched a bunch of games last week. I ain't Raiders played. I just watched the energy of parents and the energy that how they were pumped up, how they were talking about, how they were fired up, and it rubbed off into the kids. I watched 3 fights last week at the junior high level because parents were egging kids on to punch a kid. What are we doing? What are you doing? But here's the problem I have. I don't bite my tongue. The problem I have is these are the programs you sign up for. These are the programs that you've told us that you don't want to waste your time with us, which is sweet. Go ahead, move on. Not everybody's, we're not for everybody. But I can watch you the next week and where you put your kid at, and they're the main one in this melee, and you're the main one egging them on.
Right.
You're egging them on. So what are you doing? It ain't about the program. Now you're making that program. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that program didn't want you with that energy either, and now you got them as a target.
I understand passions. People get excited watching games, and sometimes you do draw back and forth. It just happens in the same.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about fist fights and people trying to fight and trying to go on the floor and stuff like, that's where it's crossing a line and crossing into something else, because we have to question what you're in this for. Is this about making your kid better, or do you just want your kid to win basketball games because it makes you feel good about you? And that's why we are a development program. Yeah, we play in tournaments. The tournaments help us represent and help us let the kids show what they've been working on. It allows us to get some more teachable stuff that we can bring back to academy. So sometimes the kids go out and they don't play up to the level that we expect them to. But you know what? We bring them back to academy and we teach to it.
The same development program has produced some college athletes. It's produced some boys and girls. It's produced some varsity players, produced some JV players. And that's when parents start. Because I've had to grind and get where I'm at. You've had to grind and get where you're at. But one thing you can't doubt is our influence and what we've done and helped some of these kids here. And so the same kids that wanted to develop and get themselves better are the kids that are in college. They took their time. They were like, okay, coach, I need to use my left hand because the coach in high school said, I'm not going to make the team. All right, so let me show you how to use your left hand and let's work on it like too. Realize how much little time you have to get better and how real it is. I break it down like this. If you go to a Class A school, you might have a freshman A and B team.
Right.
Sophomore year, you might have a reserve team, which sophomores, juniors. But junior year, JV or varsity, whatever, and senior year, you can only play varsity. Most schools, if I'm wrong, you can comment, but I've seen enough of it. Most schools will probably run 8. 9 to 10 is going to be rare unless you're beating somebody pretty good, or you're running 5 out, 5 people in, 5 out. A lot of programs don't do that. Hey, you are right now going to the lead center and places with 75 kids. I just counted that there's only 8 that are going to be on this team. Out of that 75, there's 8. After freshman year, you still got to make those teams. The window closes.
Right.
So if we're telling you now, hey, you're going to a team that's won a state championship, a team that's been in the playoffs a lot, your window is going to be short. I'm going to take the kid that's disciplined, who wants to work hard, over the kid that is undisciplined and thinks that I'm going to still shoot this ball, this weird floater, no matter what force, because I don't want to listen to anybody, because I wasn't developed to listen to anybody.
Right.
So as a coach in high school, I don't want you. I got 30 of you came to tryouts. But I don't have 5 of this guy that works really hard. He's the first one back on defense. He's the first one on the ground. He's the first one, yes, coach. He's the first one at practice, and the last one to leave practice. Okay? And that's the things we're trying to deal with in our academy. We have talks before and after. The kids probably like, "Here's coach." At the end, if you listen to it, we're talking about stuff that we wish we would have done. And I said, I wish I had done. I wish I would have worked hard. I wish I would have stayed an extra hour. I wish I would have listened to and that's the development part of it. It's not, hey, you guys got an hour? Oh, time's up. Go home. Have a good day. We're like, hey, man, y'all didn't really lock in today. What do you mean? As a group, we didn't lock in today. It is spring break or something. That doesn't really matter.
Not an excuse.
You didn't really lock in today. So we talk about those things. The academy should be the thing that gets you going forward. If you are a great player, let's make you better. If you are a great shooter, let's make you a great ball handler. If you are a good rebounder, let's make you a better defender.
And I think that's the thing that's what we're emphasizing here is parents need, if you're committed to getting better and committed to the grind, there is no other questions about what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You show up and you put in your work. Now, whether that's putting in work with us or putting in work somewhere else, it's fine. But you got to show up with the mind state of we're here to get better. Now, if you're just trying to play competitive, that's fine. We have programming for you too, where we can develop your skills so you can be the most well-rounded player that you can be. But we are, and it ties into what I wanted to go into, but I do feel like we have to kind of state it's a mindset thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to really commit to it. Our college guys are going to be coming back this summer and utilizing this space to get work in. If they're coming back to work on elements of their game, why did some of y'all think that y'all are already at the top of the game just because you won a 7th or 8th grade tournament somewhere? That stuff doesn't matter after it happens. It happens, you celebrate in the moment, you move on to the next one if the goal is to get better.
Right.
And that's why we're targeting, Coach Mo's going to be reaching out to a couple of kids that are currently in our academy systems. We're trying to put together small group training so that we can narrowly focus on individual kids, individual groups. Like we're going to have guard training, big man training, stuff for wings and things like that. And we're trying to put together these small groups for the kids that are serious. Like when I'm saying serious, like they show up, it's not giggling and tickling around, and they're not trying out content for their next Netflix special. They're here and ready to lock in. Now, I'm not saying they're not here to have fun, but they're here to have fun practicing and getting better in basketball. And that's our small group training package. And that's what we're trying to get people into. I think the difference is, and you can stop me if I'm wrong, again, a lot of people are out here trying to sell you a roster spot.
Yep.
And that's fine.
Yep.
If you just want a roster spot, that's fine. And if you think that's your path, then choose your own adventure on that. If that's what you think, if you just want to play on teams and you think that's your best option, that's cool. I'm not here to say it's not. It might be perfectly good for y'all, but that's not what we are here to do.
No.
As a program. We're not here to facilitate and just put your kid on a team and then that's it. We expect them to show up to development, and the teams are a component of that development.
If we can't cater to you, like I would feel weird letting somebody come outside of our program and the kids was with us for 6 months and he still can't dribble his left hand. We're doing something wrong at that point. We're doing something wrong at that point, and we'd own it. But that won't happen if you show up consistently. It's a battle of reps. As the coach told me, it's sevens, the rule of sevens, right? Like you show up one time, good start. 2, okay, better. 3, 4, 5, getting really good. 6, 7. After 7 times, I'm starting to get a little good with my left hand now. I'm getting comfortable. You go 7 more, you get 14 days. Okay, go 3 more, you get 21. You get 28. I'm almost to a month. And all of a sudden, now I'm left to now I'm right to left. Now I can do stuff with my left. I can't do it. Do 7 months. Where are you at? Where you at 7 months? Do 7 years. Get in the program. Okay? What you're seeing, as you guys are watching March Madness, you're seeing kids that want development. They want development. Yes, you got those 5-star kids. You get 1, 2 of those teams. 4-star is really high. I mean, better than average person. 3 is pretty good. There's some kids on there that are 0 stars, but you know how they got there? They worked their butt off. Right. They're like, I want to go to this university and play with this guy right here. I want to be on this team. How do you get better? Right now, he's a 40-point scorer. We don't need another scorer in college. We really should have somebody play defense and pick up full court. I got it. I want to be the guy. So we get those same kids. We'll get in here and they'll volunteer. Coach Mo, can I cover? So, hey, can I be in the next drill? Coach Mo, can I be in the next drill? That particular kid wants to get better because they want reps. Like, oh, I got crossover. I did. Yep. I gotta fix my footwork. Okay. Can I do it again?
Mm-hmm.
Can I do it again? Those are the kids get crossover, dropped in the trailer too. It happens to those kids. But they get back up and like, I want to do it again. They're the one that's gonna get better. And they're the one to get better. I've heard from a lot of college coaches and high school coaches that I don't know too. There's guys still can walk into a YMCA, 25 Fitness, and drop 40 points. They're 40 years old, 50 years old. Still do it because some people can naturally score. But there are also those people that can do that and walk back on defense. And that's why they can go anywhere. You're like, man, I know that guy went somewhere. I know he played somewhere. No, he walks back on defense. He doesn't understand how to put his hands up on a closeout. He doesn't understand how to hedge pass. He doesn't know how to slip screen. What are those things called? There you go. That's what we're trying to teach you.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's what it is, and then kids are gonna roll their eyes. I don't care. And parents may not believe me on this one, but I do know, without disclosing, I do know a little bit about a little bit. The kids that I've seen that make that highest level, and I'm talking about where you're sitting there on draft night,
Right.
waiting for your name to get called. The way they perceive their development and the way they approach their development they don't see it as an afterthought of going out and playing a bajillion tournaments. It's not that.
Right.
They're the ones that are up early, getting their parents up early. Hey, we got to get to the gym. We got to go put in the time. I got to work on this. I got to work on that. They're constantly working on their game.
Right.
Y'all think that it's just going to the tournaments and getting highlights that you can post on social media. And that's not it. The kids that make it to that ultimate level, they take it seriously. They clock in, handle their business on the training, go handle their business at school, do kid stuff, but they take, while they're on the court, while they're practicing or while they're working on their game, they take that time seriously. You don't have to train 7 days a week.
Right.
Freaks where it doesn't force their body into different modes of shutdown. They don't get those overuse injuries, which is something else we're going to discuss on a later podcast, playing too much. But when they're on the court, they don't waste time. They don't play around, and they're consistent about showing up to work on stuff. That's the difference, and that's the work ethic that we're trying to put into our academy, where they rather come in and put in the work. And some of y'all don't take it seriously. I roll at the passing when we're doing the passing drills or the dribbling drills because y'all think y'all got it down. And we're here to tell you that even the kids that are, and I call them kids, but they're grown adults to y'all, even the kids that are playing at the highest levels that we've been attached to, they still come in and do them drills.
Yeah.
They do them without anybody having to tell them to or without anybody leaning on them.
So if you see the game, bounce pass, a pocket pass, a chest pass, a mid-range, a free throw, a three-pointer, pass. What? That's basics. And we have people that want to get tough, want to get knocked around for it too. But in that boxing or that wrestling, because we can do that. We do the bags, you get them contact, but we coach through it. You can't hit the bag and then lay on the ground.
Yeah.
Can't hit the bag and throw it over the rim. You're jumping off two, you're being strong, you're going back into the pad, and you're finishing. Let's talk your footwork through it.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do for you guys. So when a high school coach sees that kid, oh man, that footwork is nice. What did you do? They're like, for an hour, we jump stop, we got contact, and we went through the bag. That's boring. For an hour, we jump stop with the bag there. And guess what happens when that kid gets to high school? That becomes an 8 to 10 point shot for score, you think, for him.
Yeah.
What happens when that kid goes to college? All of a sudden, he's a star because now his post numbers, he's shooting a high percentage of the post because he jump stop, he squared up. It's things that we learned at this age. So that's what academy, that's a different. They were like, I'm not looking, do I want to win every game? Sure. But I'm not going to lose sleep if I know, like, we played the top team in this division, supposedly, and we got within one. Good job. I mean, you guys worked hard.
Right.
Sweet. Now I have a measuring stick. This is awesome. But if we do that and you just lay out and you get beat by 50, okay, we're in the wrong division.
Right.
And you have the wrong mindset, which we need to talk about during the academy, not right now during the game. Like, I'm not saying that tournament if you can't handle yourself.
So this is related, but the boring stuff is the stuff that separates the good players from the great players.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where the great players they make sure all the fancy stuff, and that's dope. But they also have a good mastery of the boring stuff.
Right.
And I think one of the big issues is we are so wrapped up in the flashy, fancy stuff. And we'll look at Kyrie and look at Kevin, look at KD. You know where I've seen Kyrie and KD also? In the USA basketball training video.
Yes.
Working on the boring stuff that y'all roll your eyes at, the boring drills that y'all roll your eyes at. They're doing that stuff too.
How you live a better shooter if you're not shooting? Shooting the ball, like, wait, how do you think Steph and Kyrie and those guys got better? They shoot the ball. They prep. They train
to where it's second nature.
Yeah.
Where it's not. They don't have to put a whole lot of thought into the shot. It just happens in the flow in the game. And so I think a lot of times, even parents are guilty of this, where they're like, I don't know if this stuff is challenging enough, but last game, your kid dribbled the ball off their foot 3 times out of bounds.
Let me explain something. You bring that up, man. So we talk about that right there. That a couple things that trigger. That's one. They ain't challenging enough. We didn't do this. My last team did this. We did this and this. That's your last team. There's a reason you're over here. So obviously something didn't work. Number one. Number two is parents and get what's challenging to you. Like you just said, I'd feel more like I'd be upset if my kid blew 4 or 5 layups in games wide open.
Right.
So I'm challenging him right now to stop blowing 4 or 5 layups. So I'm going to blow the whistle when he blows, he misses the first 2, so we can break that habit right now. So I'm trying to help them get better.
Right.
That's why we're moving like this. This is why we might move a little slow in this reel, because you need to move a little bit better.
Pete, so we bring John.
Yeah.
Coach John.
What up, John?
Yeah.
What up, John?
Yeah.
Hansberry, Florida.
Yeah. John comes up here and does a camp with us. First time we did it, we had a bunch of people and we had different levels and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we had a bunch of parents that put their kid in the most advanced dribbling level. And I'm going to tell you that they embarrassed some of y'all out there because John's going through what he sees as basic progressions for somebody that's mastered their dribble. And some of y'all kids some of these kids couldn't even keep up with the most basic part of these progressions.
Right.
But their parents think that they're advanced. And so they're struggling with all these progressions. And he's trying to teach y'all hesitation dribbles and stuff like that. But some of the kids didn't even have the basic stuff because there was no emphasis while they were training on the basic parts of it. And they're want to get these fancy show-stopping dribbles where somebody falls down, breaks their ankle, they dance on them and hit a shot, but they're struggling mightily with just parts of the progression that he was going through because they didn't have the most basic parts of it. And so that's what we're saying. And so when we're sitting there looking at it, yeah, we focus on some of the boring and remedial stuff because I'm going to be honest with you, nobody else is. Other people aren't focusing on it. And you may think that this kid has a good handle on it or a good grasp on it, but it's not really the case. But that's why sometimes you see them working on stuff that you think is boring or isn't at their level because one of the coaches has seen something in game like, nope, we got to go back to the drawing board on this. We're working on chest passes here.
Yep.
Mo and I have discussed it. We've been down to tournaments and we're sitting watching one of our black team or forgot what team it was, where they're struggling with passes. They're just lofting shit in the air. It's not really going anywhere. There's no zip on the passes. They're not getting to where they need to be. They're just hanging passes out there for somebody to steal.
Right. Body language bad after you throw it, breaking down, do it 4 times in a row.
And they're not stepping into the pass. It's just the most abysmal passing you'll ever see. And these are kids that we had put up a little bit higher because we're like, we need you to be there. What were we working on? Passes.
Right.
We're working on getting passes down because the kids showed us that it looks good, but until when it gets into a game, they'll fall back into bad habits. So we got to go back and nail that piece down. And that's the academy difference. We take these games, we might be disappointed. Man, I really thought that these kids were going to do better this tournament. I had higher expectations, but we take that, and that means we're heading back to academy and we got new stuff to work on.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Is this really for me? I'm going to have my twilight of the soul and stare in the mirror and figure out what my basketball future is and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This dark night of the soul kind of thing that you're going through. That's not what that means. We need to go back to academy. We need to work on it and get better so that we can reload and be ready for the next game. That's what the academy difference is. It's not all or nothing. Your kid had a bad game. That doesn't mean they're going to be benched the next 7 games. And it is something that we've talked to the coaches about. It's because the kid doesn't show up here doesn't mean, unless it's behavioral stuff, we need to make sure that they're getting some kind of reps.
Right.
But at the same time, we need to make sure that we're not just forcing them to get reps when it's actually hurting them, because that can be a thing too,
Right.
where a kid mentally isn't ready to be out there to get the kind of work that they're getting or get the workload that they're getting that's being demanded of them. That can damage a kid too. And so we're balancing the playing time, but we could take it back to academy and work on it. And it is a balance because sometimes winning is part of the lesson.
But yeah, you're trying to win.
You're learning to win.
We try to win the right way.
Right.
We lose the right way as well. We're not throwing chairs on the floor and signing across there because of the ref. It's a learning lesson every time.
Right. So that's where we're at. I think we talked about the small group training. Let's do one more conversation about the academy.
Okay.
And just lay down the main points about it. And I'll start and you jump in.
Okay.
All right. So our signature program is Basketball Academy. Our Basketball Academy program right now goes 2 nights of the week, Monday and Wednesday. We're probably going to be adding more times as we move throughout the season. Basketball Academy is really focused on, we want to nail down
the
basics of the game.
Before you move on, before you jump on the court, even if you're in between games in the season, let's get your basics back.
Right. So we're going to focus on those basics and really getting good reps with the basics. On Wednesday night, we've sectioned it off so we have a bigger space to work with, where we're doing a lot of drill and station work to focus on individual aspects of the game. Monday night is a little bit more high intensity, competitive, and really pushing the action.
Right.
But it is almost it's a year-round basketball camp. With some updates to the website and a couple of things I'm working on the back end, we're going to be adding more curriculum-based stuff to it so that you guys will be able to actually get progress and see and track progress of kids and stuff like that. That's something that we're actually building in the background. But again, it's a year-round basketball camp. It's a basketball academy, and there is a team component. So when you join academy, you can join our classic basic academy, which is you get those 2 nights a week, and you get trained. And if you have another team that you play for, on the weekends, you come back to Basketball Academy, train with us.
Right.
And then we have our Academy Plus Teams feature, which is now you're on Basketball Academy and then you're on one of our Basketball Academy teams. And it's pretty traditional how they'll go around and play in tournaments and leagues and stuff like that. So those are our 2 services. With Basketball Academy, the idea is you show up as you are, you come in and ready to work and handle your business and get better and build a better player. With the Academy Plus Teams, it's focus on building a better player, but now you have a competitive element so that you can really display the skills. And so one of the things I want to talk about is displaying the skills, because that's what the competition is for. The idea is, for us, our philosophy is we practice the skills, we refine the skills in the academy, we practice them on team practices for the Academy Plus teams, and then on tournaments, you display the skills so we can see where they're at in a live game situation, and then we take that information, bring it back to academy, and now that's our plan for the next week.
You've even done videos on that. You've done videos where you've talked about it, clips of the game where they're moving the ball. That's all academy work.
Right.
It's all academy work.
And so that's what Basketball Academy is. It's a monthly investment. We do have a weekly option, but it's still a monthly investment.
Yeah.
We just taken the monthly price and broken it up to pay us on a weekly. So it's for people that if it makes more sense for them to pay us every week, that's fine, but it's still monthly investments.
Right.
And That's what it is. And that's what Basketball Academy is. That's the simplest way I can put it. Now, if you're part of regular Basketball Academy, are you on a team? No. If you're on Basketball Academy plus teams, are you on a team? Yes. No. You need to show up to Basketball Academy. And that's what it is. Does that mean that you're exclusive to us? I think that for me, there's a delicate balance because we have to be fair to the kids that are in academy on the team plan, but we also want to be fair to y'all. For us, our priority is going to be our teams and our Basketball Academy kids. So you have to have strong communication with the coach if you're going to be playing for different teams and expect us to, because we're gonna still do what we do. So if you're on our Basketball Academy plus teams program and you got multiple teams that you play for, cool. I'm cool with that. But understand that that means we're gonna have to bring in another player that we can get that's gonna be consistent with us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and this is another day for another podcast, but it makes exact sense. It's like we're okay with the two teams once communicated.
Yeah.
Once communicated way in advance. Or the reason. And sometimes I help people with the reasons. Like I had people that are like, well, it's close to my house.
Yeah.
And the guy was nice to me. Okay. So you get another set of coaching and I get it, coaching, or I get that person's nice with you, but are you developing? No, this is close. Okay. So sometimes I have to help people with that conversation. And I've done it with my oldest, the one I work with. And most of these guys you're seeing on TVs and that too play for one team. They played for one team growing up. They played for their high school team.
Yeah.
And the summer team, they had a summer team they played for, and that was it. So I don't fix what's not broken. Like if it hasn't worked for people before, then it works. Not saying, but I know there's some obligations. Some kids have feeder teams that are very demanding.
Yeah.
Other ones where it's not a feeder team, it's my buddies in the backyard. We're all gonna just hang out, and we're gonna miss Friday because we're doing a buddy team. Yeah, I don't know about that.
There's 2 points here.
Yeah.
On one, with the feeder teams that are really demanding, at some point you do have to sit down and say, is my kid getting developed on the feeder program?
Right.
Because is the feeder program a prerequisite for them to play 8th grade, high school, whatever ball? Because if they're taking more skilled kids, and it doesn't matter if they're affiliated with the feeder program, that applies to you too.
Mm-hmm.
If your kid's the most skilled kid out there, they're not going to deny them a shot at those higher levels if they're more skilled than everybody else. It's
Right.
just not going to happen. But then on the other side, is the feeder program providing adequate training and opportunities for my kids? So you got to look at it like this. If you're learning math, is it easier to learn math from one teacher with one method, or is it easier to learn math from 7 different teachers and they're all starting in different places and they all have different styles? You have to answer that question for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times that's what kind of happens with the coaching thing. We've had kids that come to us and they've been the one coach is coaching them completely different. We had kids that come in, their coach has told them they're never allowed to shoot. And then they come to us and we're like, no, you're a good shooter. We need you to shoot to just get rebounds and stuff. That's fine. But we're saying you're a great shooter. We need you to shoot.
Right.
Because we think that you need to be able to develop your shot because that's going to give you more options moving forward.
Right.
They're telling you they just want you to grab rebounds and stuff because the reality is they just want to be able to use you, not use you in the negative way, but they just to help them win.
They're living in it now, and we're trying to get them ready for the future.
So that's the thing that you're going to have to figure out on your own. We're not going to answer that question for you. You got to figure out what's best for you and your kids. But to wrap this all up, our Zen of Basketball Academy is, at the end of the day, does this make this kid a better player? If it does, then we roll with it. If it does not, then we move on from it. And it's not about who's going to help us win right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about, is this going to help this kid make their 7th grade team? That's what we're looking at.
Right.
And so we set up our programming based on that. So if you have any questions, email is coachmoathletics@gmail.com. Follow us on all of our socials wherever you see this. That's all I got. Do you have anything else, Coach Mo?
No, I think here it is. For the shout out to Kelly at Cage Creations. She made these cool here. Window decals. You go pick some of those. I think she said it's $5. That too. She has plenty of shirts. If you ever see us geared up on the weekend, hit her up. Hit us up. We'll get going there. So we appreciate her. Appreciate any of our sponsors. There's a lot today, but we'll put them into their lot today. We appreciate it. The players, the parents. This is important, parents. We appreciate you. CMA, we appreciate you more than I've always been accessible. I always make sure that I try my best to talk to the parents and tell them how much I appreciate you guys. But if there's questions and you feel like we haven't answered stuff or anything like that, email us, text us, pull us to the side. Me and Brian are very accessible, and we will help you understand it. The last thing we want to do is kids and parents bouncing around without any direction. They don't know what's going on. Because I'm telling you, it's a dirty game out there. What I mean by dirty out there, after you pass 8th grade, anything can happen.
Right.
Anything can happen. I'm not in your schools. I can't be at your school workouts. Okay? I don't know what Papio does compared to Benson, compared to any other school. I don't know. But I know they want you to work hard, have the basics down, show up on time, be respectful. The stuff that we talk about. We can develop to that point, and when you come back for your workouts in June, I want to see something from these kids. Where like, hey, what did Coach say?
Yeah.
What did Coach say? Man, I blew 4 or 5 layups. Remember when it was funny? Remember it was funny in class when you thought it was funny? Just throwing it behind your head. And now, I don't know if I'm going to make the team, man.
Right.
That's what I was playing around. So we want to make sure that that's a thing.
One thing I did want to address, because Coach Mo mentioned it's a dirty game. This is what I got to throw out here, and then we're going to sign off. We got stuff that we got to get done. I need y'all to understand that there are programs out there that pride themselves on whatever players they can poach from other programs.
Yep.
That's what they pride themselves on. We don't sit around trying to poach players from other programs. And so when we find a coach on that doesn't match our energy at all. And so pretty transparent. A lot of times if you guys are with other programs or whatnot, we've already talked to the coach. We're aware, even if you haven't told us, we're just letting you do your own thing. But some of these coaches operate by trying to poach talent left and right. And they'll tell you anything to get your kid on their team. Transparency is key. Let us know what's going on. And we could say, oh, yeah, that team's 100%. We cool. Don't worry about it. Or we could say, watch out for this because this team's guard heavy, and make sure that they're just not trying to warehouse your kid.
Right.
We can have these kind of transparent conversations. Our program is not built on poaching kids. If we're recruiting kids to come to our academy program and train with us because we see potential in them and we think we can maximize their potential, we are not recruiting kids to be on our teams. And if we got coaches that are doing it, y'all got to stop. We're not recruiting. We want kids to come in to our academy system and train with us, and then we see a future with us together.
That's what I heard all year. And shots fired. I don't really care. That's what I heard all year. It was like, Coach Mo, your parents are mean and they yell at us and they do like this. And I laugh because I know exactly what the situation was. I'm like, parents didn't say nothing to you. I was like, there's nothing to talk about when we're beating your team consistently by 30 or 40 points. And they're like, I see you recruit this one kid on our team. So that's really funny for me because I've never recruited anybody because I always bring people in. I'm like, I don't know in the world of basketball, and maybe somebody else does, maybe I'm wrong in my world, if I'm consistently beating a team by that much, I don't know if I really even want their players. I don't know if I want their players to come into an academy development. Like, I don't want you for a team.
And the question is, could it be that this kid is on a team that's consistently getting beat by our team, and the parents are coming to us and saying, I'm tired of getting beat all the time by y'all. Can I come and train with y'all and my kid gets better?
Yep.
Because they're not offering actual development here.
Conversations happen outside of you, not the end all be all to anything. Like that same parent probably has talked to us. That same parent is looking at the score every week and they're looking and they're reading. And we know they're looking. We want them to look. We want them to look. Except that one thing good about us, if you beat us, sweet. We gotta get better.
Right.
Yeah, we beat you.
We'll reload.
We beat you.
We're coming
we gotta stay going like that too. I don't lose sleep thinking about your recruiting a kid.
Your kid's on a feeder program, and you have it in your mind that the parents that are associated with the feeder program have it in their mind that this is all or nothing, make or break, you know, all or nothing. It's got to be all in.
Right.
And if they don't do, if this feeder program loses and they can't win on this feeder program, then golly, I don't know what they're going to do. And what we're telling you is we're offering you an alternative where you come in, get the training outside, get the skills to win and dominate. So when you go back to that feeder program, or when you go back to the high school that feeder program's attached to, they can't deny the skills that you have.
Right.
That's where we're trying to get you. And I know that it's really intense when you're on a feeder program and it's rough sitting up in the stands watching, because we're not the only team that is beating that team by a lot of points.
Right.
It's not necessarily all or nothing. So please don't invest that much into it. Just maybe it's time to look at something different and get the kids better, because that's not your only option. And I don't want y'all to think that's the only option that you have to play high school ball. Go out and get better, whether it's with us, whether you're doing it on your own in the front yard and putting in the grind, but commit to getting better and don't worry about how it looks on the feeder program. Because if you walk into high school tryouts and you're better than everybody on that court, you're going to have, the coaches aren't going to overlook you. But you think that because you're on this feeder program, that's a ticket, and it's not, y'all. This is the last thing I'm saying. The feeder program is not a guaranteed ticket to anything. It's just an opportunity. But one opportunity, one door shuts, another one opens. And sometimes you don't want to go into even a door that's open. You want to take an alternative route. So be the best player, and they can't deny you. But just being affiliated with this team or this team doesn't guarantee you anything. And I need parents to wrap their heads around that, because that's where that entire thing stemmed from. That feeder program had a bad showing, and they're mad, they're hurt feelings behind it, and we don't have anything to do with it. We are not responsible for how you guys perceive us. That is a reality thing. And just because our team came out ready to go and your team wasn't, that does not reflect on us. The thing I will say is come and train with us, and don't believe that the feeder program is your only path till that high school team.
Hey, either you train with us or don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just move on. It's right. Okay, so if you don't like McDonald's, right? You don't hate McDonald's. You don't have to spend 10 minutes when we're in the car and find something to eat, talking about how you don't like McDonald's. Just go to the next place. Go somewhere else. I get it. You said you didn't like it. I'm talking about it. You started talking about it. So we tell them that you can go train somewhere else. Train. I'm friends with a bunch of trainers.
Right.
I'm friends with a bunch of people that
we can recommend.
Man, we have programs. Shout out to the Magic. We have girls that come play with our girls sometime, and then we sit in our girls and play with them. It's
Coach Hep.
Coach Hep. Me and Coach Hep has coached a long time. Hey, Coach Hep, I need a 7th grader in the next 3 weeks to get. Hey, there's a kid. He's gonna come to your camp. We're here and here. We're all helping. We're trying to help each other out, because guess what? At the end of the day, we all fail if these kids aren't ready to play in high school. They're not ready. I don't lose sleep at night knowing that my oldest, he's played varsity since he was a freshman. That he's put in the work to do it. I know what he does. I know what we did playing for one team. I know what we did doing other stuff. I knew what the development piece would look like. So I wasn't really worried when he got to high school. What would he go on the court? I don't know. Will he be coachable? I don't know. We knew. I already knew. And anybody that was friends with him or developed with him, they're the same way. You know, all we want to do is we have an option of the basketball academy. We have different things there. You know, but we do have our dribble drive camp.
Yep.
Part 4 coming out at the end of the month. That's April 28th. There are 3 levels at this one, and I did that on purpose because some of them we were going advanced, immediate, or intermediate, beginning, advanced. I am very uncomfortable with dribbling a basketball. Intermediate is I'm pretty good until somebody's in front of me. I'm pretty good until I gotta go score.
Right.
And advanced is I can do combinations, I can do pull-ups off of it, I can do 1-2 scissors dribble, come over here. Sign up for that now. That is out there now.
Most players, I'm throwing it out, correct me if I'm wrong. Most players are going to fall into the beginning or intermediate.
Yes.
The majority of players, I'm expecting like 80% of the players that sign up for this are going to be at the beginner or intermediate stage. If you show up to the beginner one and you're like, this is too much for me, then stick around for the advanced session. Or stick around for if you're at the beginning one and it's not challenging enough, stick around for the intermediate session. Okay? That's where we're at right now. But Don't think that your kid is going to be because if you throw them into the deep end with the advanced piece of it, I'm telling you, it's going to be frustrating. Again, I'll put the bow on it. We're a training organization. We develop kids. If you're looking at a pathway that doesn't involve having to kowtow to this specific team or that specific team, come train with us and get the skills they can't deny. So that when you walk in, you're the best player on the court. That's all I got. So
that's it, man. Sponsors needed. We have teams this summer. Sponsor, you can be sitting right here with us. We'll go to a different part of the gym next time, doing your podcast, getting your something on the website, us shouting you guys out. There's a lot of benefits from it.
Yeah, we're looking for sponsors to come in and sit down and talk about what they do and share it with the Coach Mo basketball community. Yeah. Talking about what they do and what services they can provide. And so we're going to be doing that. And then you get a banner on the wall. You're going to see the B-roll of the building because I'm about to go through and shoot some of this building and whatnot so that you can see what we're working with. But we're looking for we have an urgent and immediate need for sponsorship for some of our summer programs to help out kids that can't afford it normally and fill in some gaps where a couple of sponsors had to have other commitments. The economy is where the economy is. And so they had to make decisions. And so we are having a need for sponsorship to help out with some other things around here. But it allows you to be on here as long as your business will be replayed and live forever on YouTube or wherever you're hearing this podcast. So sponsorships is something we're looking forward to, and we are looking forward to having those conversations. And like I said, if you're looking to get the skills, Basketball Academy. If you're looking to get a better dribble drive, camp number 4 is coming up. And we're going to be trying to do a camp every single month. So you're going to be hearing about it on this place.
You got 4 kids, 3 to 4 kids, small group training. You got one-on-one training.
Right.
All this part of our program.
All of it is it's a development program designed to get your kids better. And that's what Coach Mo's Basketball Academy is about, getting your kids better. So that's all I have.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys later.